Hi guys, Pete over here. So the video that you are about to watch, I want to give a little context to, because it's totally different than you are normally accustomed seeing on my channel. It's me talking to a couple of my friends. They're thinking to possibly open up a thrift store. I'm just giving them some pointers how to possibly go about it and my experience of running a business, similar business like that for many years. So I think a lot of people are gonna find this interesting. Just little snippets and ideas that you can take out of this video. It's pretty lengthy video, but I hope you enjoy it. And I'm gonna say it because I know we know each other for many years. You used to run a store,
right?
Okay, so you little bit, you know what it's all about, as far as like being a thrift store or a junk store. You know what kind of it takes to get this done. And then there was a reason you closed it down.
Right.
Why again we're thinking of doing a store? So
once we closed down, I have my warehouse. I have a bigger warehouse that we didn't have before. And
by the way, thank you for the donuts.
Yeah, no. I've been a little more successful. Oh, you've been to the warehouse.
Yeah, I've been to the warehouse.
So I started selling out of there. You know, when COVID,
right,
with that kind of stuff. So I started having success out of there.
Okay.
So I get it a little bit more. I wasn't real involved the first time around, you know.
Okay.
I was doing more of the junk stuff. So, so now I have a little more experience, and I kind of see, you know, where it is. And then our location is the last place didn't have a sign. You know, it didn't have some basic stuff, and we didn't get a whole lot of walk-in traffic. So.
The reason I'm asking this is because I want to get a little bit of sense. Why? Like, why, really, why the thrift store? And I'll tell you why, and I'm going to give you my honest opinions and pointers, what to do, what not to do. After we're done talking here, you might be even mad at me that I'm telling you certain things, but I'm just being honest, and I want you guys to hear this.
This is why we came to get your professional opinions.
My first thing, and I know these are some samples of what you're thinking, you know, to name it, a thrifty veteran resale, and I get it. You run junk and debris removal service that it's, you know, J-Dog, right? And it's all veteran based, you know, kind of operated
right
thing. So great idea overall, you know, to keep it in the same thing. Here's a couple of my questions. What kind of items are you guys planning to sell there? Is this typical thrift kind of / junk store that it's just like you would walk into any thrift store and you got a little bit of everything, mishmash of all kinds of stuff? Is it all household goods, or is it also going to be clothing?
So yes, it's going to be a lot from the cleanouts, what we can retrieve that are, you know, that's sought after or whatever. But we're going to get into clothing, you know, pallets and stuff like that, you know.
Okay.
So, automotive parts, you know, just whatever is the niche, we're going to maybe try to go after. But a lot of it's going to come from what we get through cleanouts.
So cleanouts. I mean, that's...
And it could go from anything from lawnmowers and...
Okay. The reason I'm asking what you want to sell in there, because, for example, Salvation Army or Goodwill or Savers, any of these big outfits, they're out there. Well, I wouldn't say 90, but maybe 80% of traffic that is driven there, that comes to shop, comes to buy clothing. Okay? It drives a lot of people in, and if they buy a couple t-shirts, shoes, a jacket, on the way out they'll stop by other stuff, and they might pick up a little trinket here and there, or a toy or a book or whatever. But the main thing for people to come in is the clothing. To have clothing takes a lot of room. You need a lot of space for that. So when you mentioned to me that you are looking at that store that it's relatively small, which is about 1,000 square feet, it's gonna be hard. So if you're not gonna concentrate on clothing then, and you're just gonna do the hard goods because you guys do the cleanouts, and that's most of the stuff that you get is hard goods or little trinkets and stuff, then you got to worry about the aspect of how many people are going to come and buy that, because the traffic that is driven by clothing for most of the thrift stores. So you got to really think about that. If it's a small place, you put few racks and you out of space. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So how big is the place that you guys thinking?
1,000 square feet.
1,000 square feet. So just to give you a general idea, so I know you already seen it, you visualize it, but this front room here, the whole building that I have here has 10,000 square feet. The biggest mistake I made when we started our store many years ago, the first shop that we had, it was 1,600 square feet. We outgrew it in 3 months. That's how quick.
Yeah.
Within 10 months, we had to move. There was no more room. It was the biggest mistake of this operation, because stuff was coming in and there was no room to put it. Now, just look at this front room here. This is 2,000 square feet, like 1950, because I think it's like 30 feet wide by 65 feet long here. This is 2,000 square feet. This is where I keep stuff more that it's more valuable, so we can kind of keep an eye on it. But as you go out to the shop, and I'm sure you had a minute to walk through this, it opens up to bigger, heavier things that can be there that I'm not worrying about it, because theft is a big deal. Not that it happens all the time, but it happens. And you want to keep an eye on things. I have 8,000 square feet of operating store when merchandise is on the floor, and another 2,000 square feet of back warehouse that I process things, that I have things listed online.
Yeah.
I keep those two things separate, because something sells today, this sells right here, I forget to remove it from eBay or from my own site, and then I have a problem, right? It's sold here, now somebody bought it tomorrow on eBay, it's gone. So I keep those two things separated, so I need room for that. So when you said 1,000 square feet, I think this is the biggest no-no.
Yeah.
Not enough room. And I know, just because not only the space that you need for the front store, but then the back space for processing. When the stuff comes in, sort it, clean it. What's eBay? What stays in a store? You know what I mean? A little office. Just everything you need.
Our plan was to use my warehouse, for that bigger stuff and for the sorting and for doing all that, and then just bring it over as we need it to the store.
Okay.
The big stuff, the furniture, we're not gonna. That's another problem we had with his store, is a lot of this space was just big pieces of furniture that sat there forever, and we didn't get rid of. So that kind of stuff, if we do want to sell it, will be out of the warehouse. And we were planning on having just like a TV screen or something, kind of showing what else is available.
So when stuff comes in, we take pictures of it and then put it on a loop of, so when people are, going through the store, they could see stuff that's not in the store per se. And then, if they're interested, then we can just have them go over to the warehouse. Take a
it's
look.
an idea. Is it gonna work? I don't know. You want the people impulse buyers right now.
Right now.
Okay, they see it. It's a good deal. They're buying it. They're out the door. That thing, I'm gonna drive tomorrow and come back, buy it from you, does not work. I hear it here. We hear it here all the time. People don't come back.
Yeah.
If it's there, boom, you give them a little extra deal and it moves. So that's a kind of. How far is it from each other?
10 minutes.
Probably 10 minutes.
So you're gonna close the store? You're gonna go there?
No, I mean you'll either be working.
You know what I mean? It also becomes a problem.
No, I know. It's just the reality of finding a space like this and this much space in that area is. I mean, there's no way. There's no way that the rent would be way too much.
If I can ask, what's the rent there? I'm curious. So it's 1,000 square feet, right? 1,800 bucks. I seen it. It's on a main road, North Avenue, busy road. Sometimes super busy is not good either, and I tell you why. North Avenue is so busy. People going from west to east, or how is it run? Yeah. On the other side, they have no access to you.
Yeah.
They have to go another 2 blocks to turn it around to come back in.
There is a U-turn right there, I believe.
Is it?
Like within a half a block, there's a.
I seen a little parking up front just for a few cars.
And then there's parking in back. There's a big parking lot in back.
Okay. So that's
there's
On the
the
side, yeah.
our strip mall, and then right across, you know, the road right there is another strip mall, and then there's that big out.
what's the competition
park.
in the area as far as the same stuff? I think Goodwill is
There's a
just
Goodwill
down the street,
down the
right?
street,
Yeah,
yeah.
Goodwill.
There was one right across the street,
Right
but
across the
they've
street was
closed.
another
Okay.
junk company that what was it? Junk luggers.
Okay.
So that, but I think they're closed.
There's a
Close enough.
place.
They were
Well,
all
there's
friends,
many
yeah.
places now that do the pallets. Okay, and I mean the stores that unload, they buy the stuff on pallets and then unload. You guys know what it's called, the week model. You know what that
No,
stands
no.
for? We start at $8. Tomorrow is 7, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0. Get it out of here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's the new model. There's probably about 20 stores now in Chicagoland area that do this. That buy the pallets every week, stuff comes in, they put it out on the tables. People come in on Friday. Friday is the first day, everything is $8. They sort it, they buy it. Next day, when they come in, everything is $7. 2 days later, drops to 5. 3 days later, it's only 2. Last day, it's $1, so we can try to unload as much as we can. That's the new model, buying pallets and getting stuff, you know, out the door. And then they close down for a day or two to reload again and do it over again. There's no question about it, especially if you're getting stuff that people are willing to pay you for it, and then you got access of it because you're doing junk and debris removal. Then you're gonna have some donations. Do the pallet is the right model? I don't know. It's hard. I mean, I've been in a pallet game way at the beginning when it started. We bought the whole truckloads, okay, to move stuff. But you need room for that. When I bought a truckload from Home Depot and it came in full of vanities and toilets, and you know, you gotta have room for that.
Yeah.
But that's where the best deals come in, when you buy the truckload. How are you guys gonna advertise? What's your marketing strategy?
Well, I mean, we're going to obviously have signage, but then we might do a marketing, like a Haibu type of marketing.
Like Google ads, paid ads, or what?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean,
I
we
didn't
could.
put much
I mean,
thought into
well,
that.
that's questions.
No?
You know,
It's a
these are
big deal,
questions
right?
that
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Forget about Google Ads.
Yeah.
It will kill you. It's
Yeah.
too expensive.
That's what I kind of thought. But.
The pay-per-click, it will eat you up quickly. Here's the thing. There's a lot of ways that you can advertise completely for free using Instagram, Facebook, but you got to put a lot of effort to it, and you got to show off with cool items that will drive the traffic. We have at any given time on Facebook Marketplace probably about 1,000 items listed at any given time, from stuff that it's only $20 to stuff that it's $300. It's a mix of stuff, but that drives traffic from all over. The beauty about having a shop, and like you guys gonna have, you don't have to sit home and make an appointment, come at 3 o'clock. You just give them the hours. Open at 10, close at 6, show up.
Yeah.
So that's a nice thing. But you can utilize the social media big time for free to drive the traffic in. A little tricky because you gotta establish yourself first. Of the get-go, you might not be even approved to sell on Facebook Marketplace unless you use your own private at the beginning. When you do a business page or fan page, it takes a little bit of time that Facebook realizes, okay, this is a legit place. We're gonna let them sell on Facebook Marketplace, but it's a slow process to get that going. So at the beginning, you're gonna have to probably do both. A little bit of yours if you have established Facebook Marketplace. If you sold already,
I
some,
do.
you know.
Yeah, he's been selling.
So-
Okay.
And then Instagram, same thing. Craigslist, obviously. Craigslist, it's kind of dead place now, but still some people shop there, you know, and it's free. Actually, they recently start charging like $5 a post, I heard.
Oh, wow.
Is it true? I don't know. I haven't used it in a long time. Obviously, my name is Craigslist Hunter because that's what I used to do, right? I scavenge the Craigslist all the time.
Well, we are planning on, we do have a website kind of up and running. Well, it's
Yeah.
not up and
No,
running
it's
yet, but it's.
But yeah, that's, I mean,
a
the
website
Facebook
together.
Marketplace, that's what got me going. Because then people would show up and they'd see all the other stuff I got. And
Right.
Then, and oh, I want that too, and
Yeah.
that too, and that too. So that's what got me back into this.
What do you think the average selling price in a store is going to be? Meaning like average ticket for something that you sell, let's say it's going to be, you know, whatever, bunch of stuff. What do you think average thing is going to bring in there? Remember, you're a thrift store and a junk store. You got totally different model than my store.
Less than 20 bucks, probably.
Yeah. I'm going to say 20 bucks tops. I mean, on an average, if maybe 15, 10. 15.
So average product that moves for Goodwill on average is $7.
$7,
Yeah.
Okay, on average. From somebody buying just, you know, something like this for $2.99 to a t-shirt for $4.99 to jeans for $8.99, you know. I mean, obviously the prices went up crazy within the last few years, you know, at those places. But, you know, the average ticket is, you know, it's low. It's below 10 bucks. Now, it's great in your model and great for their model if you're getting stuff for free, right? But you still got that overhead. You got to think about, so how many you have to sell a day just to cover that rent? So now you're thinking $1,800 rent, things that people never think about, liability insurance, they're going to hit you with a $3,000 for that. Traffic going in and out. So you got to add another $300 a month. That it's, you know, to the cost.
Yep.
Then you got your internet that you need, your lights, your gas, another $500, let's say total. All of a sudden, this is a $2,500 nut every month. That means you have to make, and then of course taxes and everything else, that's a separate ball game, but you have to make, let's say, at least $75, $80 every day just to cover that.
Right.
Nobody's talking profit yet. Reality before you get known and people are like, traffic is flowing through the door on daily basis every day, it's going to take you anywhere between 12 to 18 months. Like, yes, you will have people coming in because you're advertising heavy, right, and they're coming in, but that's just enough to cover that bill.
Yep.
So I'm just talking reality, how I went through that route. The first year we didn't make a dime. Are you planning to have any employees, or is it just you?
We're gonna probably have a part-time. I mean, we're gonna put most of the work in ourselves. Yeah, I mean, brunt of it all. And you know, when he's unavailable or I am, we're gonna need somebody just to fill in.
Part-time comes in for 4 hours, 5 hours during the
That's
day.
Exactly what we're planning on.
Because now, if you're there already, right, things are slow. You can work on different things in a shop, stacking, cleaning, hopefully maybe posting a little bit for Facebook Marketplace. You do need another person in reality to do your like eBay side. Yeah, you won't have time for that. If you're doing your Facebook, your Instagram, you're attending to customers, you don't have time playing in that back room doing eBay, which is going to be a big part of your business. So now you have that part-timer, 4 hours a week, I mean a day comes in, for 5 days a week, let's say. That's at least another $1,000 a month that you're going to have to pay him. You know, so now all of a sudden it's $2,500 now. So now we are, you know, I mean another $1,000, it's $3,500. You know, all of a sudden you got to make $125 a day just in those little trinkets for $8, $10, $20 that you got to move out the door. So first year you're not gonna make any money. The second year, what's gonna happen? You're gonna get that repeat business, and that door is opening more and more and more because you already funneled so many people that they know about it. The word is spreading. It takes a little bit of time. It takes tremendous amount of advertising for startup that has no following. If you have golden arches and you are McDonald's, you open the door, immediate business, right? You are Walmart, immediate business. Brand new, nobody knows about it. Who is it? You know, like, so it takes time. I'm not trying to discourage you guys in any way. I'm just telling you realities, what you're looking at. Oh, that was that guy that brought a bunch of diamonds, and all of them were fake. So there's a lot to think about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Prepare yourself, like truly prepare yourself. Then you're not going to make any money out of this for a year. And, you know, think about it, okay, if I'm going to put all the money that we make right back into it, because that's what you kind of have to do, you're not going to draw any salary out of this. Just make sure, okay, I'm ready for this. And I know you got the other business going, and, you know, so that helps. We started the same way. When we ran Junk Platoon USA, that was the main money. That was money that we were living off. The business was pretty successful and rolling good. And when we started the shop, We didn't make anything. Like literally and we added, keep adding to it. Ryan would call us up and he says, Pete, I don't have any money in a drawer. Can you bring some more money? You know, like literally, you know, because remember, a little bit different business we have. We are buying stuff from people, but
So
like what?
If you had 1,000 square feet and you had to use that, what would you focus on?
Knowing
like,
our model with the junk business and buying pallets.
Yeah, knowing what kind of stuff I get. I mean, obviously tools and that kind of stuff, but you don't get the greatest clothes. You get hand tools. You don't get, you know.
Yeah.
But you come across.
But what clothes?
So here's what's gonna happen if you're just gonna concentrate on household stuff and tools and some electronics. You kind of cutting off half of your potential, meaning the clientele. The ladies that come in, they want the clothing. I have maybe 10% of females coming in here because I don't have that. This is a men cave shop. This is guy shop. You know, I have very little to offer to women besides maybe few small household appliances and some vintage and antique stuff that I have. So if you're gonna, and the women most come in for the clothing and a little bit of household decoration. But if you have 1,000 square feet, you're not gonna have room for that. You just won't, because the racks take so much room. Just think about it. This is 2,000 square feet. Cut this in half. Yeah. And then where's your back room for a little bit of stuff? Now, if you're doing your eBay, are you gonna keep it also in the other store, or is it like?
Yeah, I mean we got to decide where, you know, if it'll be at the store itself or we'll just keep it.
Yeah, I mean we'll take pictures and we'll do everything, get everything set up over there, and then maybe.
Because we have, I mean, how big is the warehouse? I mean,
it's 2,500.
Yeah, so I mean, we have 2,500 square feet of storage. You know, like we were saying with the big pieces of furniture and the odds and ends. But yeah, and I know we really went over that, but
is there? Are you kind of locked into that?
Not yet.
No, not to the new place. To your old warehouse.
Oh, I am for another year probably.
Okay. How much is that? I know that's in the back warehouse. I mean back area.
It's not much more. It's like 2,200.
No, it's a $4,000 right now that you got all together.
Yeah, but that's the junk. I mean, I use, you know, the junk business pays for that. But yeah.
But I'm looking at it. Okay. What about if you can get 3,000-4,000 square foot place that you have a front retail back warehouse? You combine them together. Okay. Now it makes sense. Everything is at one place. Easier to manage. You don't paying two different insurances. You don't. You know, everything is under one roof. If it was me, that would make a lot more sense.
We looked at a place like that, but it was right on 83. But it's not like a frontage road. But you're talking like $6-7 grand then.
Yeah. So it scares everybody, right? It scares everybody that big amount of money, that $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month. How I'm gonna make it? It will take time, and you have to be kind of ready. I wouldn't go that high, but I think you can find somewhere in the middle. I'm being brutally honest. I think, guys, 1,000 square feet is too small. It's too small. You're not gonna have. Here's another problem that you run into. In a bigger store, you can mix things around. You can move things around. When I come into your small store, week over week, and I see the same stuff on the shelves, and it's kind of stale inventory because it didn't sell, but you still don't want to, you know, just toss it out. You still got it there even for $2.
Yeah.
In a big store, you can kind of mix this up and move it around. In a small store, you can't really do that, so people see this all the time. They're not going to come back. They see the same stuff. Oh, no, it's still here. It's still here. I run into that problem a little bit here, too. But any moment, what we do, we'll move things around. I'll take it from here, I'll put it in the back room, bring it over here. They think it's new merchandise. It's amazing.
It happened at the old shop.
You just move things around.
Have a
Oh!
person come in every day and they would see something and you just move it from one spot to the next.
It's like 6 months, right?
It's been here every day you came in. He said,
Yeah,
no, it isn't.
yeah, exactly.
I know
So
exactly.
in a small shop, it's hard to do that. Now, the more space you have, the more lighting, everything looks spacious. You need room too for people to walk in between. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing. If you haven't signed the lease yet, if you didn't, if you already given them a deposit, if you can still get it back, I would try to look for. At least look at this. This is 2,000 square feet, and I think this is small. Because if you.
What is that middle room right here? Or not the records, but the one after. Any idea how many square feet?
Yeah, so let's walk through. I'll show you guys step by step what it is. I don't know what happened here, why they had this like this, whatever, you know. So I decided to turn this into its own and make sense. This used to be our appliances room. This was the worst freaking room in the whole thing. Fridge, messy, vacuum cleaner. You remember, you know. So now this is nice. So, but this back room, so this is half of the building. As you can see, the ceiling goes up here. This is kind of half, this wall is a half of the building. So we put up this wall here to divide and have the back for our eBay area. This is the vintage room. This area right here, this is just a little bit over 1,000 square feet, like that.
Yeah.
So this is your store.
Yeah, that's what
this is your store roughly. Now here I have two offices that we dedicated to eBay. So if stuff comes in, right, you can come in here. This is our shooting area. This is a staging area. Stuff that we think it's ready for eBay, cleaned on shelves. He's gonna photograph here. He's gonna do what he has to do, and then in this room, he processes everything. All right, this is his computer room. And I got this set up for 2 people. If I need 2 people working here, 2 people can work here. So you need space like this to make this happen. And to be honest with you, right now the business is 40% store, 60% online. That's how my sales are at the moment, you know. So this is the back warehouse now where this is another 2,000 square feet from this to there. So that's why I'm saying that 1,000 square feet all of a sudden looks very small, right? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You gotta have area to pack and ship. You gotta store all these boxes when you're packing and shipping now, because now it's important part of your business. This is 60% of my business. So it's gotta make sense, it's gotta be easy, accessible, and then the back room, if we go this way, 4,500 square feet. And I kind of divided this end part with these shelving units here. And I like to keep my boat in there, so I designated a little bit of area for myself, right? A few things that are my private things back there. But this is, again, this is all storage, because I need this space. This is stuff that comes in that we still gotta sort it out. If I would put a person right here with the entrance and sell tickets for $1 just to get in and look, I would make more money than the stuff that is here right now. People are not spending money on this. If it's priced correctly, it will still go, right? But I pay for the stuff, so I got a little bit different margins. Now, if you get, you know, a set of these for free, you can move them. You know, I have to ask $30 for these pewter Playboy. You got them for free, you can probably put it for 10, it will go. But I got my margin because I paid 10.
Yeah.
So, but just be careful with stuff like this, that, you know, you need to sell things that people want, right? A lot of people that come in, half of them you're gonna have resellers, they're gonna browse through it, they wanna buy it, flip it, and have people really in need that they wanna buy things cheap, you know? Right. Guy wants to come in and buy, you know, work boots that he can afford for $120, and he's gonna buy them from you for 30 bucks. So you got to decide what merchandise, which route you want to go with the merchandise.
What would you say is more of the hottest niche? I mean, I know things change, but all in all, it's stayed pretty.
So hottest,
or what stayed?
So there's needs and wants. Okay, what people need and they'll buy it all the time, and then there's wants. These are wants. Oh, I want this. It's so cool. But I need those 2 screwdrivers because tomorrow on a job I need to use them. So you got to think like that, right? You can like quickly move stuff. There are things that people need. They need a TV because it broke, right? They need a radio, they need tools, they need, you know, things that are necessities.
What about stuff you get out of a kitchen? Like, is that stuff sell? Like this
Pots and pans. I mean,
no.
Hard sell.
Yeah.
And then you got to remember, you're competing then against like Savers and Goodwill, that you walk in and plates and pots and pans are laying there for $2.99. You know what I mean? Because they were donated, they were free, and they get this all the time. All the time.
and that's stuff that we will get all the time for free that we can easily, you know, $1, $2, you know, $5, whatever. And so in set, you know, in theory that kind of stuff.
I just keep worrying about the room, even if you concentrate on all the items that are just the need items and they're gonna be selling. You need space for that. You know, pots, everything takes room. And think about this room, and you put a rack against the wall, a rack in the middle, maybe 2 racks and 1 against the wall, and this is it, you know? About A high, because you can't be loading stuff on top. People will never see it or reach it, you know? But I think ideally for you guys to start would be at least like 2,000, 2,500 square feet. I think that's, because you quickly realize that having the selection is very important for people when they come in and shop, because they won't come back, oh, they don't have anything, you know what I mean? So, like I said earlier, you can easily hide and move things around. So maybe don't be on a main drag, maybe a little bit off to it, or something that it's next to it that draws a lot of traffic, but you're on a side street, not on a main road, right? Big Target store, Walmart here, side street here, a couple smaller shops, be there. People are already pulling in, they'll stop by. If you're just, even on a main drag, but a lone store sitting with a hair salon next to you and some other small place, is that gonna drive a lot of traffic when there's only a few spots up front? Right. Those little places are designed by appointment retail stores, like hairdresser. There's appointments, right?
Yeah.
No.
There's a liquor store in that.
Liquor store will help a little bit, right? Because there's a lot of traffic coming in. But it's a quick traffic too. Like somebody's coming in with the, okay, I'm getting there for a case.
Putting items on a TV screen, looping them, and then putting a TV screen in the big bay window. So people on the outside, they don't have to walk in the store. At least they could see some stuff if they're walking by or driving by or something that's scrolling, you know, they see a couch, they see a dresser, they see, you know, what have you.
But how are they seeing it? Like,
well, because I'll have the TV screen.
And they're driving 30 miles an hour, they see it?
No, if they're coming through the parking lot and or if they're coming by through the other businesses, say they didn't want to stop into the store, but it might just catch their eye, something that might catch their eye from the outside without coming in.
So I agree with that model if it's a walking traffic buy. Mm-hmm. So it works very well for real estate agent offices, right? They put a bunch of pictures of homes that are for sale as you're walking casually, doing your ice cream because you bought it next door and you're seeing it. Do you have a traffic walking by? No, you got only people showing up to those businesses. Then again, winter, are they walking? You know, yeah, it will help a little bit. Is it something that it's gonna catch? And another thing comes back to it again. Okay, you're showing off that nice sofa because you picked up. Oh, I like it. You open. Where's the sofa? Oh, it's another building. Where can I see it? So you're seeing it becomes a little problem, you know.
And our thought was, you know, just like the Facebook Marketplace, you know, you're posting things there. People come in, they see a bunch of things, or see that particular item, and then they see a whole bunch of other things, and they're interested. Same kind of concept. We were thinking, okay, I like this sofa, you know, how can I see it? Okay, well, you know, okay, we could set, you know, whatever, just meet us over here. We can also deliver. Obviously, we have the opportunity to
you have the trucks, you can deliver.
It's just stuff that can be,
it will work, it will help. I don't know necessarily if like being in a window thing that it does help. Like it will draw extra traffic, I don't think so. Being inside the store, if they already came in, and they may ask you a question, or they see it on, you know, your items are scrolling on the TV, sofa pops up, they might be in a market for it. If it's going to create a sale, maybe, hopefully, kind of improved model, so you would have to test that out.
Yeah. And it's just something else that, you know, might catch their eye or make them think, hey, do you have this? You know, just because it's not, they don't see it in the store, and now they see this TV screen, well, they know you have more items without even asking. Because if you walked in and didn't see that, you wouldn't even say, well, do you have a couch? Because you don't see a couch, but you saw a couch on the TV. What else do you have? You know, so just, I mean, it's free. It doesn't cost us anything to do that, per se. I mean, so.
I know you guys want to open something. I know you want to get going. I would like strictly reconsider the space. I would go a little bit bigger, or even if you, I'm gonna attack this from a different angle now. You said that what you did for the last couple of years, selling out of the warehouse, bringing people off Facebook, worked very well overall. Maybe stay with that model for a while. Create a separate space that you can move things online to. You know, like move on eBay, or, you know, there's, you know, a lot of different avenues, like my new site I started to now. There's a lot of eyeballs on internet smalling the smaller stuff. The bigger stuff, you can still move it out of your warehouse. Because I'm telling you, it's not easy to fight with these big Goodwills and Savers and Salvation Armies that have unlimited stuff coming in to them from donations, you know. You are that little guy trying to burst, and then you're trying to do this in a small space. I know a lot of stuff you guys will get is free, but then also, you know, you're gonna buy pallets, you know, and so.
Now, do you think competition in a, you know, in a close surrounding area is good, or is it bad? Would you say, like you had another resale shop across the street, or a Goodwill down, you know, a couple blocks away, because the people that are coming, the traffic that's bringing in, well, it's not like you're going to get gas and you can only get gas at, you know, a gas station. Oh, there's a resale shop. Oh, there's one across the street. Now that their traffic that they've,
so that model works very, very well, but you got to be literally there. 2-3 blocks away, not good anymore, because they're already making the trip. Right. So that's why when you see a Walmart opening up, there'll be immediately another small strip roll next to it, another one on the angle. There might be even a Goodwill popping up right next to it on a side street. Why? Because all the traffic already came into that location, and they all want a little piece of it because people are already there. So it's a great idea. Now, if you're already 2-3 blocks away, not so much. So that's why I was asking earlier, who's next to you?
Yeah.
You know, when we had the old store, there was 5 stores there and a laundromat. Thank God for the laundromat. The laundromat was bringing people. Why? Because they went, they put in their load, they gotta wait 20 minutes, they came into the shop. So it helped. But there was nothing else. There was nothing else. I had a hair place, I had a cigar shop that had, I don't even know how the guy stayed in business. I think he just chilled there because he had 1 customer a day. And then I had a dentist that was strictly by appointment. People not even thinking to come into my shop, you know. So when we moved here, GMC dealer across the street, when people bring the car for service, they gotta sit and wait all the time.
I was just thinking like a tire shop or something might be good.
I had a liquor store here for a while, but then this turned into the new gas station 7-Eleven. People pull in. I line up stuff in the summertime on that grass so they can see. I put lawnmowers, ladders standing up there. It all drives traffic. Guys sitting there pumping the car is looking at me. Holy shit, let me stop in there. Burlington Coat Factory, Jewel, Hobby Lobby, all these stores are right here. They're already coming here. For them to just cross over, it's a big deal. The location is huge. So think about that. I think you should go with a bigger store if you can, and find a location that has easy access, meaning like enough parking next to something big that will also drive automatically the traffic. I'm just saying no to the 1,000 square feet.
Yeah,
You're
no.
gonna struggle.
The
with
reason
that.
we did that was because it was relatively inexpensive,
Right.
for the area. I mean, the thrift store we were talking about right across the way, I think it was 5,000 square feet. Their rent was 10 grand a month. That's why they're out of business.
Maybe slow down a bit. Get a place all together. Little bit of beaten pad. And I'm saying together,
Yeah,
thrift
with the
shop
junk,
and,
yeah,
and junk
yeah.
all together, all
Yeah.
one location. Easy to manage then, everything is cheaper. Go with that model. Grind a little bit the office model, I mean a warehouse model for a little bit.
Yeah.
Establish yourself on a marketplace really good. Establish eBay going really good, you know, or a couple different sites. Do that for a year. Your year lease expires, now it's time to move,
Right.
and then start looking and open up something, you know, bigger. I think
Exactly.
I would do it like that, because nothing worse than all of a sudden 6, 8, 12 months from now it's not working, and either you got to move and be bigger, or just the whole thing is crumbling because you're not getting, you know, traffic, or, you know, it's just a location. That's what they say in retail. Even if you pay attention to all the Goodwills, a lot of them are off beating path, right next to it, some way sideways. All of them that I know here, within few miles from me, none of them are on the main drag. Not a single store. The one here in Crystal Lake is on a side street, kind of behind Walmart. But the idea was next to Walmart, right?
Yeah.
Millions, well, not millions, but thousands of people coming every day, and some of that's gonna spill over. The one that it's on Randall, very popular, the one that I like to go to, there's a Woodman store in front of it. They're behind it. You can't even see them from the front. And Menards on the other side. Woodman, Menards, and they're in the back. Just think about like Goodwill, probably average, I think, is about 10,000 square feet stores. Maybe they're a little bit bigger, maybe 12,000. Salvation Army, usually about the same, maybe bigger. Savers are usually the biggest ones. They're 20,000 square feet, right? Because it's all about that, how much is in there.
Right.
You know, people can go in and stay there for hours and find things, you know. So I'll give you shout outs. I'll come out to the shop. I'll, you know, spread the word. I'm like, I'm going to Eric's because he told me, or let's do a live auction at Eric's shop. You know, I'll promote you guys as much as I can. I'll help you out too. For me, it's a free content too,
Right.
you know what I mean? And it gives you exposure to, I'm okay with that. You know, we've been friends for a long time. I'll help out, you know. I just think you should take a little step back and
I
really
appreciate that, and I'm following you totally, and I like building up a presence on Facebook, not under me, but under the store, and doing that. Maybe
Yeah.
taking a year to kind of to do that. If we had this spot though, like because we need a little more room than what I have anyway, like right now, just to even do this kind of stuff. I mean, if we just focused on a couple things in this store, but mostly used it for, you know, posting and getting our online stuff together.
I see what you're
Is
saying.
it like maybe not have it for necessarily the walk-in kind of traffic?
But we'll gain any walking traffic that
We
comes
can't find
through,
any
and then
space.
build a
For
clientele
this price,
from there.
this is about. I mean, you know, this is what we could. You know, this stuff goes for in that area.
Yeah.
So if we want any kind of space, just to operate out of, it's going to be about this much anyway. So if we do use that, and I don't know, is there one thing we could focus on in a small space? And maybe it is just all closed then. Or
Yeah, but how much of that are you getting? Not a whole lot, I think. Or are you getting a lot of clothes when you're doing a
we
cleanup?
get a lot of clothes, but I mean, a lot of it's for 70-year-old women, you know. So
Right.
not necessarily what we
With
want.
pallets too. I mean,
But with pallets, you could do that. My wife does a lot of Poshmark stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I don't know if that's the one thing you can focus
See,
on.
I mean, clothing is not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much competition out there. When you walk into the Goodwill and Savers, there's just racks and racks and racks of clothing. And even, you know, their model too is like Goodwill is, if it doesn't sell in their store within a certain amount of time, they have the outlets too, right? There's none in Chicago area, there's one in Rockford. They're called the bin stores, not the bin stores, they sell it by a pound. You can go in there literally and you're paying 60 cents a pound. You load up a cart, they bring out these huge bins every half an hour. There's an army of people waiting for them, and they just go at it, I want this, and they throw it in a basket, and they roll the basket on a weight. All right, 60 pounds, $42, here you go, you know? That's how a lot of stuff Goodwill unloads that hasn't moved in their store. That's another revenue. They figure out how to get rid of stuff and still make some money on it. We used to be open at 8, then 9, 10 works the best for me. It just does. Between the 8 and 9, I had a couple people, but hardly anybody. At 9, it kind of, the flow started a little bit more, till like really the traffic didn't start flowing till like 10 a.m. And then same thing with the PM. During the week, people like to shop after work. So, you know, the 9 to 5 people, they'll still have an hour or two after work they can hit some stores. And it really kind of dies down by 7.
Yeah.
It really does. So we used to be open till 7, and we even dial it back now at 6 p.m. It's good enough. And on a Saturday, I'm 10 to 5. 3:30, 4 o'clock completely kind of dies off on a Saturday. People have parties, people go to different events, do things, you know, so just...
Or would you say thrift? Would you have a thrift, resale, or junk? I mean...
Let me ask you this. When you're driving down the street, and you see from a distance big letters, thrift store, you know immediately what it is, right? You associate, this is a thrift store, this is a junk store, I can go in, buy second-hand stuff. Immediately you know. Now when you say resale shop, then it skews down a little bit, because now what do they resell? Do they specialize with everything? You know what I mean? They could be just resell or boutique, you know, clothing, or is it reseller of electronics, or is it... So, but thrift or junk, you know, immediately people know, okay, this is a thrift store, I know what it is, I know I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna find all kinds of stuff. So that's very important, you know, and big, because if you, especially if you are on a main drag, this is your #1 advertisement, and it's there, 100,000 cars going by. If you don't put big advertisement, people don't know. If it's just tiny, don't be cheap on that. The biggest you can make, and they will allow you to put it on a building, put it up there. I mean, there's lots to think about, right, besides your expenses too. You know, you got to really crunch those numbers and see where you guys stand. Because there's a lot of hidden things that you just don't think about, you know. So... You know, I don't know what your budget is or how much merchandise you guys already have. I remember when we first opened, I mean, we had a lot of stuff because of junk and debris removal, right? We had that store that was almost ready for us to open. And the back warehouse of it, we filled it up to the gills. About 6,000 square feet, like literally, like just, you know, for years of doing this, we had so much stuff, you know. So when we move all that stuff to our warehouse in Belvedere, we slowly grabbed stuff from there to fill up that small store, and we kind of picked through, okay, this is like true, because we didn't want to be a junk store anymore. We wanted to be this model that we are now, that we are buying and selling. So a lot of stuff we end up actually donating, that we realized, okay, before the model was junk, now the model says this, and we end up having a lot of stuff that was like truly junk. But we could turn that into cash, and that's your idea, or like everything is free, right? And you can just, you know, unload. You can maybe find different outlets and guys who will be willing to buy from you things that you don't want to move, right? You know,
and I was thinking of that line too, right? I mean, because it's the thing about having the store, whether, you know, and again, if we decide to go down this route real quick, we could build our, you know, our presence in the next 2 years. People will know, and then when we do decide to move and upgrade, then we could say, okay, you know, then they're going to know where to follow us. But it's the people that just come in off the street that I had experience with in the last, as well as you have, you know, you don't know who's going to come in looking for what and what kind of connection
Yeah.
you're going to make. And, you know, it may be just, okay, we get pallets of this. Well, they'll just buy it right off us and just, you know, just turn them over, buy them and turn them over, or whatever the case may be. I mean, you know, the ideas are endless. Like, you know, I mean, how to move stuff. I mean, flea markets, you know, online.
Auctions. I have, you know, we just unloaded a bunch of stuff that I had here for a while that we decided, and it's still come back even from the auction. It was so junky that nobody even wanted to bid on the auction. So half of the stuff did sell and half of the stuff came back. So you got to realize, okay, next time we better don't buy this because, you know.
But is it okay to have, I mean, I know a lot of people, and then we'll let you go and we'll redo this in another time. We'll get together over lunch or something. And but do you think having the store, even though you're selling a good portion outside the store online, even if you take stuff to auctions or whatever, what have you, does that still make up for having the store, in your opinion?
You want my true opinion? Like, if I would start this over,
instead of running this out of your house,
I would not open a store.
No store.
Retail is harder and harder now. We kind of figure out, and what I did as far as the YouTube channel, that helped a lot too. That is driving a lot of traffic, but it took some time, took years to get to this point. If I would had to start this over and just have like a resale shop or thrift shop or junk shop, not my model, I wouldn't do it. Just my honest opinion. I would run it out of a warehouse.
Because now you're more online anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the shift started very slow. I was more in a store, like literally 20-25% was online, then 30-35, and now it's completely shifted over. So now I'm only 40, and it continues going. I'm thinking within the next 5 years it's going to be almost 80-20. So I'm using this space to get that merchandise, to put it online. People like shopping online. It's a convenience and ease. Now the junk store is a little bit different because it's a bargain, it's a deal thing, you know. So it's got a little bit. But if I would have to do this probably all over again, I would just concentrate on a warehouse myself, you know. There's a lot of stores that popped up and closed down already that had that model of doing the pallets thing. That we're gonna buy truckload every week. Yeah. We're gonna unload and move stuff, and it worked great at the beginning. There was only a couple stores. Now the model caught up, more stores open up, competition got fierce, prices of people competing for that merchandise went up because now less supply, more demand, right? So these places, people are bidding on this. They're going high. So now it's hard to make money because everything, the cost is higher. So it's that model quickly, like within 5 years, went, you know.
You want me to update your sheet at the same time?
Yes.
But hey, try it, guys. I mean, that's what the entrepreneur is, you know. So you got to start, you got to figure out, you got to, you know. It's
blood,
not
sweat,
easy.
and tears.
Yeah.
Put our blood, sweat, and tears in it.
I mean, it's 80 hours a week because it says 10 to 6, but it's not 10 to 6. I'm here at 8, and it's just you work for yourself. You know how it is. I don't have to tell you that. You've been running, a business for a long time. So, but at least you got that. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Sorry,
coming in dry.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well,
awesome, guys.
We appreciate it. Thank you, people.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I mean, if you want to just keep it, if you want to throw it on, for anything.
So you revise it.
Yeah,
keep an idea.
On the line on
But yeah, we'll.
Thank you. We'll talk.
Yeah,
Don't
thank
hesitate. Just call. If I'm busy, I'll just tell you I'm busy. I can't do it. But especially now when it's 2 weeks before Christmas.
Yeah,
so
it's busy time.
yeah. Okay.
All right, Pete. Thanks.
Take care.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed this long video. It was packed of information, but it was totally different from my usual content. But I think a lot of people are interested in that subject, how I run my business, how potentially you can run your business. There was a lot of different things packed in that video that maybe you will take away and you put it to good use in your business. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.